Hello students and friends. Welcome to Homeopathy Medicines. Today in this homeopathic materia medica lesson, I will discuss about homeopathic medicine Medorrhinum. Before starting this video, please subscribe to this channel for Learn Homeopathy Online Free and Homeopathy Materia Medica. We need support from you to make this channel more beautiful and more informative. Now going to discuss about Medorrhinum, its uses and symptoms. A powerful and deep-acting medicine, often indicated for chronic ailments due to suppressed gonorrhea. For women with chronic pelvic disorders, chronic rheumatism, great disturbance and irritability of nervous system, pains intolerable, tensive, nerves quiver and tingle, children dwarfed and stunted, chronic catarrhal conditions in children, nose dirty, tonsils enlarged, thick yellow mucus from nostrils, lips thickened from mouth breathing, state of collapse and trembling all over, history of psychosis, often restores a gonorrheal discharge, intensity of all sensations, edema of limbs, dropsy of serous sacs, disseminated sclerosis, mind, weak memory, loses the thread of conversation, cannot speak without weeping, time passes too slowly, cannot bend, again, is in a great hurry, hopeless of recovery, difficult concentration, fears going insane, mansionly, sensibility exalted, nervous, restless, fear in the dark and of someone behind her, melancholy, with suicidal thoughts, head, burning pain in brain, worse, occiput, head heavy and drawn backward, headache from journeying of cars, exhaustion, or hard work, weight and pressure in vertex, hair dry, crispy, itching of scalp, dandruff, eyes, feels as if she stared at everything, eyeballs ache, feels as if sticks in eyes, lids irritated, ears, partial deafness, pulsation in ears, quick, darting pains in right ear, nose, intense itching, coldness of tip, posterior nares obstructed, chronic nasal and pharyngeal catarrhs, face, pallor, acne, blotches of reddish color, small boils break out during menses, mouth, tongue coated brown and thick, blistered, canker sores, blisters on inner surface of lips and cheeks, stomach, coppery taste and eructations of sulfuretted hydrogen, ravenous hunger soon after eating, very thirsty, cravings for liquor, salt, sweets, etc., warm drinks, pernicious vomiting of pregnancy, abdomen, violent pain in liver and spleen, rests more comfortably lying on abdomen, stool, can pass stool only by leaning very far back, painful lump sensation on posterior surface of sphincter, oozing of fetid moisture, intense itching of anus, urine, painful tenesmus when urinating, nocturnal enuresis, renal colic, burb, osum, parer, urine flows very slowly, female, intense pruritus, menses offensive, profuse, dark, clotted, stains difficult to wash out, urinates frequently at that time, sensitive spot near os uteri, leucorrhea thin, acrid, excoriating, fishy odor, cicotic warts on genitals, ovarian pain, worse left side, or from ovary to ovary, sterility, metrorrhagia, intense menstrual colic, breasts cold, sore, and sensitive, male, nocturnal emissions, followed by great weakness, impotence, gleat, whole urethra feels sore, urethritis, enlarged and painful prostate with frequent urging and painful urination, respiratory, much oppression of breathing, hoarse while reading, pain and soreness through chest and mammy, incessant, dry, night cough, asthma, incipient consumption, larynx feels sore, dyspnea, cannot exhale, sam, cough, better lying on stomach, extremities, pain in back, with burning heat, legs heavy, ache all night, cannot keep them still, zinc, ankles easily turn when walking, burning of hands feet, finger joints enlarged, puffy, gouty concretions, heels and balls of feet tender, thuja, soreness of soles, restless, better, clutching hands. Skin, yellow. Intense and incessant itching, worse night and when thinking of it. Fiery red rash about anus in babies. Copper-colored spots. Phthis. Tumors and abnormal growth. Fever, wants to be fanned all the time. Chills up and down back, coldness of legs, hands, and forearms. Flashes of heat in face and neck. Night sweat and hectic. Sleep, dreams she is drinking, Rs, Fos. Sleeps in knee-chest position. Modalities, worse, when thinking of ailment, from daylight to sunset, heat, inland. Better, at the seashore, lying on stomach, damp weather, cost. One of the many uses of this remedy is in the inherited complaints of children. The physician of long and active experience meets many obstinate cases in children. The infant soon emaciates and becomes marasmic, or a child becomes asthmatic, or suffers with vicious catarrh of nose or eyelids, or has ringworm on the scalp or face, or is dwarfed, and after some waste of time it comes to mind that the father was treated for gonorrhea that was obstinate and perhaps had cantillomata on the genitalia. This remedy will cure, or begin the recovery. The woman married several years desires to become a mother. She was healthy when she married, but now she has ovarian pains, menstrual troubles, she has lost all sexual response, is growing pale and waxy, and becoming violently sensitive and nervous. The husband's history gives the cause, and this remedy will cure. The pale waxy young men, who crave stimulants and tobacco, who are sensitive to drafts, become stiff after exertion and walking, who perspire easily and are extremely sensitive to cold, who have never been well since having a gonorrhea cured by injections. Rheumatic symptoms in every part of the body. Some symptoms are worse in the daytime. The usual comparison with syphilinum, which reads, med. In daytime and scythe. At night, does not hold good as a sweeping statement. It is true that many scythe pains are worse nights. It is true that some psychotic and Medorrhinum symptoms are worse daytimes. It is also true that many psychotic symptoms are violent day and night. It is also true that the mental symptoms of med are most violent at night. It will not do to be too sweeping with circumstances of this nosode. The rheumatic inflammations are worse from motion, but where swelling is not present these patients act like rheus patients, they are sensitive to cold, suffer from aching and torturesome pains, and find relief only in motion, like rheus. Most psychotic patients suffer from cold, some are sensitive to heat. Sore, bruised and lame, as if he had taken a deep cold and was coming down with a fever. The pains come on with a feeling of general tension. Obstinate cases of rheumatism. Losing flesh. Walks stooped, becoming clumsy. Stumbles. Looks as if he were going into quick consumption. Intense nervous sensibility, respecting touch of garment or a lock of hair by anyone not en rapport. Trembling and quivering, growing steadily weaker. Intense formication all over the body. Starts from the slightest noise. Feels faint and wants to be fanned. Wants open air. Cold and pulseless, with cold sweat. Oedema of the limbs with great soreness and dropsy of serous sacs. Externally sensitive to cold damp weather. Subject to neuralgias. Stitching, tearing pains. The pains are ameliorated by heat. Drawing pains in back and limbs. The patient is extremely sensitive to pain. The remedy should never be used low. Forgetful of facts, figures and names, of what he has read. Makes mistakes in writing, of spelling, and words. Time moves too slowly, everybody moves too slowly. He is in a constant hurry, in such a hurry that he gets out of breath. She is in such a hurry that she feels faint. Confusion of mind, dazed, fear of sensation, loses the idea when speaking. Great difficulty in stating her symptoms, loses herself and must be asked over again. Thinks someone is behind her, hears whispering. Sees faces that peer at her from behind the furniture, foes. Everything seems unreal, alum. Wild desperate feeling as if incipient insanity. Weeps when talking. Exhilaration in evening. Changeable state of mind, one moment sad, the next mirthful. Presentiment of death. Frightened sensation on waking as if something dreadful had happened. Fear of the dark. Anxiety about her salvation. Vertigo when stooping, ameliorated lying, aggravated on motion. Fear of falling. Wandering neuralgia of head, worse in cold damp weather. Sharp pains come and go suddenly. No part of head is free from pain. Pain aggravated from light, and on coughing. Burning pains deep in, as if in brain. Extreme tension of scalp. Band across forehead. Pain in occiput and nape, aggravated on motion. Intense itching of scalp. Herpetic eruptions on scalp, ringworm. Copious dandruff. Hair dry and crispy. Flickering before the eyes. Blurred vision, and black or brown spots in the field of vision. Objects look double, or small. Sees imaginary objects. Eyes feel drawn. Tension in the muscles. Pain in eyes on turning them. Sensation of sand in eyes. Sensation of sticks. Inflammation of conjunctiva with ulceration of the cornea. Blepharitis with much swelling. Lids stuck together in the morning. Margins red and excoriated. Ptosis. Smarting of lids. Eyelashes fall out. Swelling under eyes, as in Bright's disease. Impaired hearing and total deafness. Imagines he hears voices or people in conversation. At first the hearing is very acute. Pain along use take in tubes into ears. Crawling in ears. Itching in ears. Stitching pains in ears. This remedy cures obstinate nasal catarrh, also post-nasal obstruction with loss of smell. Mucus, white or yellow. A middle-aged man was cured of an obstinate nasal discharge by Med. Very high, and a discharge from the urethra which had been suppressed many years before came back and acted like a chronic gleet, and finally subsided without other treatment. Bleeding from the nose, and bloody nasal discharge. Nose sensitive to inhaled air. Itching and crawling in nose. The greenish-yellow, waxy, sickly face of the psychotic patient looks like that of the arsenic patient. But strange to say, arsenic does not otherwise correspond to the symptoms, but may be mistaken for it. The skin shines, and is often covered by blotches, and there are fever blisters about the mouth. Herpes on the face. Epithelium of wing of nose, or on lip. Rheumatic pains and stiffness of face. Swelling of the submaxillary glands. The teeth are always sensitive when chewing. The taste is perverted, and the tongue is foul and white at base. The mouth is full of canker sores. Ulcers in the mouth and on the tongue. The breath is foul. Stringy mucus in mouth and throat. Mouth dry and feels burned. Catarrh of throat, and thick white mucus is constantly drawn from posterior nares. Ravenous hunger, even after eating. Unquenchable thirst. Craves stimulants, tobacco, sweets, green fruit, ice, sour things, oranges, ale, salt. Nausea after eating, and after drinking water. Vomiting of mucus and bile. Sour and bitter vomiting. Violent retching. Vomiting without nausea. Gnawing in stomach, not relieved by eating or drinking. Trembling in stomach. Clawing in stomach, aggravated by drawing up the knees. Sinking in stomach. Agonizing pains in stomach. Terrible pains in liver. Grasping pains in liver and spleen. It has cured ascites. Pulsation felt in abdomen. Pain and swelling of the inguinal glands. A young man who had been in good flesh and health took gonorrhea. He was treated by injection. Soon he began to lose flesh. He suffered from pain in the groin, which compelled him to walk bent. He became pale and waxy, stiff and lame all over, and was very sensitive to cold. Took cold frequently, which seemed never to get quite well. After Med. Very high the discharge returned, and he seemed quite well. Pain in spermatic cords. This remedy has cured many cases of marasmus in infants that had inherited psychosis from a parent. Children of a psychotic father are especially subject to attacks of vomiting and diarrhea, and emaciation. They resist well-selected chronic remedies, or are only palliated by well-selected remedies. After Med. High they thrive, and remedies act better. Constipation. Can pass stool only by leaning far back when straining at stool. inactivity of the rectum, round balls, and hard lumpy stool, oozing of moisture at the anus, smelling like fish brine, scanty, high-colored, strong-smelling urine in a patient suffering from rheumatic lameness and stiffness, sensitive to cold, with tenderness of the soles, inalbuminous urine with hyaline casts when the patient is waxy and there is edema of feet and ankles, and the soles so tender he can scarcely walk on them. The skin of soles is bluish and hot, also when the swollen legs are so sore he cannot have them touched, or endure the pressure to ascertain whether the swelling will or will not put on pressure. In the above conditions will act promptly if there has been gonorrheal history, inflammation of bladder, prostate gland or kidneys, copious mucus in urine, renal colic, parenchymatic inflammation of the kidneys, copious pale urine, frequent urination at night, loses urine in bed, inactivity of the bladder and feeble stream of urine. It has cured many cases of polyuria. Nocturnal emissions and impotency in young men who have had gonorrhea several times, especially if treated by injections. Prolonged gleedy discharge with rheumatic symptoms and declining health. For gonorrheal rheumatism it is a most important remedy. It controls the rheumatic symptoms and restores the discharge. It has cured induration of testes, and pain in the spermatic cords. Pain in left spermatic cord, left sciatic nerve and lumbago from every exposure to a draft in one who suffered from gonorrhea several years ago and was cured by med. 10 meters. At long intervals. Chronic pain in ovarian region. Sterility. Painful menstruation. Obstinate leukorrhea. Enlarged ovaries. Violent itching of vulva and vagina. Profuse menses. Drawing in sacrum as if menses would come on. Cutting like knives in whole pelvic region. Burning in scrotum and hips during menses. Respiration is difficult. Suffocation and short breath on slight exertion. Asthma in children of psychotic parents, Nat.S. Spasms of the glottis with clucking in the larynx, air expelled with difficulty, but inhaled with ease. Several cases of asthma have been cured by this remedy. Dryness of the larynx causes spasms and cough on falling asleep. Most obstinate catarrh of air passages with copious viscid expectoration has been cured by this remedy. Cannot cough deep enough to reach the phlegm, cost. The cough is ameliorated by lying on the abdomen, is aggravated at night. The expectoration is yellow, white or green, viscid, difficult to raise. Cough worse in a warm room. Many of the patients that need this remedy look sick, pale, and walk stooped as if about to go into phthisis. Dry cough, with rattling in chest. Great heat, even burning in chest. Many pains in chest. Rheumatic, sharp pains through chest on exposure to damp cold air. When patients who have suffered from gonorrhea seem to be taking on a phthisical complex of symptoms and the paucity of individualizing symptoms makes the remedy doubtful, this remedy will bring better reaction, and sometimes be the remedy for many months. Intense pain in chest on coughing. Sensation of coldness in chest and mammy. Stitching pain in chest. The chest is sore to touch, and aggravated by the motion of breathing. The heart manifests all the symptoms usual to rheumatic constitutions. Dyspnea, fluttering heart, palpitation. The pains are acute, cutting, stitching, aggravated by motion. Burning in heart, extending to left arm. Lame back is the common complaint of these patients. It is generally a lumbago, or it is a lumbosacral pain, and often extends into the lower limbs. Crural or sciatic pains. Drawing in nape and back. Pain across the back, from left to right shoulders. Great heat in the upper part of spine. Stiffness in the back on rising, or beginning to move. Pains all aggravated in cold damp weather. Tender spine. Soreness in region of kidneys. Chronic rheumatic pains in limbs in cold damp weather. The limbs are lame and stiff. Stitching pains all over the body, and in limbs. Sharp pains. The patient is extremely sensitive to pain, and feels pain as sharp and stitching. Some of the pains come on during motion, and some are better from continued motion. Cold extremities. Burning palms and soles. Trembling of the limbs. rheumatic pains in shoulders, aggravated from motion, numbness of arms and hands, worse left, trembling hands and arms, burning palms, wants them fanned, right hand cold, then left, cold hands, heat and numbness of back of hands, trembling weakness and numbness of lower limbs, awkwardness of legs, they do not go where they are willed to go, numbness of thighs, must stretch the lower limbs constantly, drawing pains and tension in legs, rheumatic pains, stiffness and soreness in flesh and periosteum, shooting up the legs during a thunderstorm, restlessness in legs, must move them constantly, aching, drawing in legs and thighs, in sciatic and crural nerves, ameliorated by continued motion, legs numb and heavy, like wood, legs cold up to the knees, contraction of muscles of posterior part of thigh down to knee, cramps in soles and calves, weak ankles, burning feet, wants them uncovered and fanned, legs swollen to knees, and pit upon pressure, sore bruised legs, ankles and soles, soles sore and bruised, look blue. He cannot walk on the soles, swelling and itching of the soles. It cures the tenderness in the soles so common in chronic gonorrheal rheumatism. Tenderness of soles so that he had to walk on his knees. Cold sweaty feet. Can sleep only on the back with hands overhead. Sleeps on her knees with face forced into the pillow. Terrible dreams of ghosts and dead people. She dreads the nights. Sleepy but cannot sleep. Sleeplessness for part of night. Copious night sweats. Thanks for watching this video. If you want more videos like Medorrhinum, please subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon. To learn homeopathy course online free with Homeopathy Materia Medica. Comment us your feedback and what you want in the next video. Like and share this video with your friends and family. For paid and free consultancy online, visit homeopathymedicines.com and mashclinic.com. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay healthy, stay happy.